Billiken fans, welcome back. It is Zach Miller.
And Peter Hale.
This is the Midtown Madness Podcast. Before we get going, again, thank you all so much for listening, especially as this season comes to close. You all mean the world to us. You keep us going. This would not be what it is without the people that listen. Can't thank you enough. If you have not yet liked and subscribed on YouTube or any of the audio platforms, please do so. Also hop into the comments section. If you got anything to sound off on, let us know. What did you think of this weekend? Did you go to Buffalo? Tell us about your trip. And we'll talk about it next episode if you would like. Billiken fans, it is officially March. We are 2 rounds down as you're listening to this in the NCAA tournament. That means all the games going forward will be almost non-overlapping. So you'll be able to sit down, watch one single game, and you'll have room in your head to deal with chips and salsa, to be able to snack. Because right now, so much going on, overstimulated. I can't get my snacking in because I don't want to take my eyes off the screen. This week, you'll have a good opportunity to indulge in some snackage in the Sweet 16, and make sure 2 Men in a Garden salsa is a part of that. You can head over to their website using the QR code at the bottom of the screen, or head over to 2meninagarden.com and enter MMP. And you should, hopefully, if you do this tomorrow, receive your salsa order shipped free by the game starting on Friday. I hope. I don't know. But it'd probably be a good idea to get it in as early as possible. They have all the salsas you could want. You go mild, screaming hot salsa, hot mango, sugar-free. If salsa's not your thing, but you like pickles, they got classic Dylan smoky barbecue. Visit them online, like I said, 2meninagarden.com. Shop your favorite flavors. Check them out on social media at 2mensalsa. On Instagram and Twitter for the latest updates. Pete, the good, the bad, the what are we doing here? The good was everything that happened this weekend. Yes, it ended in a loss to Michigan, but the way the Billikens played this weekend couldn't be categorized as anything other than outstanding.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that the Georgia win alone makes it a success, right? And then to go, not deep into the second half, but into the second half, giving Michigan quite a game. I think the score doesn't really indicate how much how much respect SLU deserves for that performance.
I can't think of a single bad thing. There's no reason to get into the bad. But there was some what are they doing here? And that is CBS Sports is still abbreviating St. Louis University as STL. And we are diehards. We are obsessive. And this bothers us.
Yeah. Yep. It's not one of the pro teams. It is St. Louis University. Come on. It's easy.
It doesn't make sense because the announcers in the game, I think they made a joke about there was some booing, and they're like, they're not saying SLU, which I honestly, that's kind of the first time I've heard that.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of original. I'm not going to lie. And I think that was good. Benetti. Was that Benetti?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, more fun this week was the Barstool guys, the Mostly Sports guys. Apparently, I guess I'm sure Portnoy came up with some sort of contest for his peons to win some of his money or something. And the Mostly Sports crew, Connor, Ebo, Brandon fucking Walker, as he's been known around SEC circles, were on the Billiken bandwagon. As much of a shitpost as it was, I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, look, these are your guys, Zach. I don't follow the show necessarily, but I think anytime there's a national show like that gives college basketball a lot of attention and decides to make SLU their darling, let's run with it. Let's go.
Yeah, that's a ton of fun, and thank you to them for even if it was just some sort of an elaborate troll. It meant a lot to the Billiken fans who are aware of that show, I think. Yeah, let's get into the weekend, and we're going to start off with Georgia. One. And you can't start talking about this game without saying the final score. And the final score is kind of a misrepresentation of how this game went, Pete. It was a 102-77 win against Georgia. They were the 8th seed, Georgia, Thursday the 19th. The Billikens, the 9th seed. And up until this point, this was the highest winning score in the NCAA tournament.
I think there was somebody. What did Florida do? Was it like 105 or something like that?
It was like 104, yeah.
Yeah. So it didn't wind up being the biggest of the first round, but 102-77, Zach, as you said before, didn't really even represent how this game went, right? I mean, like as we'll get into, SLU was up by a lot more,
and it was awesome. I feel like I'm going to do like Chris Farley, like. Yeah. Like if we ever get a chance to interview like Trey Green or like Brady Dunlap or Robbie, remember that spin move you did? That was awesome. Hey, you remember that three you hit, Brady? That was awesome. Like that's how the interview is going to go. Yeah. Yep. It's going to be some real caveman shit on our end going through this weekend. But it took place at KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. Really bummed out that I didn't get to make the trip, but it truly looked like the Billikens. I mean, they put up a fight for the biggest crowd of the weekend. And I before we dig in, I need to commend two groups, obviously. The fans, like I said, I didn't get a good shot of the crowd again for Michigan, but I assume they had I assume Michigan fans outshined us in numbers. I do. But if you asked me prior to Georgia, or like if you asked who the SEC school was between Georgia and SLU, and I had no idea, it would have been the team in blue being the SEC team or the SEC fan base. There was nobody from Georgia. Not to take anything away from the Billiken fans, because the Billikens were outrageously good. They packed in the KeyBank Center, but Georgia, holy shit!
Yeah, just a no-show, basically.
I mean, I said in Discord, it's like these SEC schools, they'll put out whatever they want. They'll do anything for football. They'll go anywhere for football.
Yeah,
And at home, they'll sell out the SEC games. They'll sell out home games because football school spirit carries over to that point. But they could not have cared less to get to Buffalo.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, too. I mean, Atlanta to Buffalo, obviously nonstop's available from Atlanta to just about anywhere. So it's much easier to get to than from St. Louis, right?
Was that a Southwest Airlines
much cheaper
commercial?
I would never advertise for any airline. But no, I mean like cheaper, easier to get to from Atlanta than St. Louis for sure. And just you just didn't, not being in the house, but everything that I've heard was that they were just a non-factor. That we outnumbered them, much louder, everything. They didn't make their presence felt at all. I was a little I was on the fence, Zach. I even up to that day, I was thinking at work that day, should I just go for it? As it turned out, with the game starting after 10 p.m., I could have left work at 3 and still been there with plenty of time to spare. 6.5 hour drive from Cincinnati. So I decided, I decided not to go. It was just one of those things. I know. I think if it had been a Friday and some other things, I don't know. I would have had to move some stuff around. But anyway, didn't make it. Wish I would have. And it sounds like, that those UGA fans just didn't really make much.
I mean, the dog didn't even show up.
They didn't bring the dog.
I didn't see the dog.
I never. If he was there, they'd show him.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, did we beat them so badly that UGA was asleep and there was just no point in showing him? He wasn't.
I guess they can drive him to SEC football games, but they're not going to fly him.
Yeah, you can't. Do you think he gets his own seat on a commercial airline, or do you think he flies with the team? Do you think he flies on the charter?
He'd have to, right?
I mean, the Hawk flies on the charter, right? Like, I mean, it's not. That's a human, but like,
Zach, you should come on, man. My kids might listen to this show. They don't know.
They don't know. Oh, sorry.
They don't know it's a person.
Oh, God. The language you're okay with.
Yeah, they hear that all the time, but they can't know that the hawk is not a hawk. These are questions. I'll have to go back to my sister-in-law for all the questions about how they handle the dog.
Please do.
I don't know. I'll ask her.
Whoever came to the conclusion of where last year's blue and whites in the NCAA tournament and A10 tournament respectively, huge kudos. The Billikens were one of the best looking teams in this tournament. Those jerseys are classic. I think it's just beautiful.
Clean,
so they were
great
great to look at with that 1080p CBS that they elevate. Everything's elevated.
That's right.
Pete, in this one, we got getting into the game. We had our first really good start since the game against Dayton in Shavitz Arena at the end of January. And it was kind of the same story for the rest of the game too. Same result.
Yeah, it really was, Zach. And it's almost like good starts matter, right? I mean, it's amazing how much that helps the rest of the game when you're not having to fight back from a hole.
I didn't need. I thought you were going to say. I didn't know hole was. I thought it was WHOLE. So I thought you were going to continue. No, but I didn't need a great start. I didn't need a good start. I just needed them to be ready to battle from tip. You can please attest to this. I was confident going into this game. I thought the Billikens had the advantage. I thought Robbie pulling Santos Real out would totally change the game for Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
But I just needed them to be ready to battle. I needed them to, score every other possession for a hot minute. Like, I just needed them to stay with Georgia early, and I thought we would pull away eventually. But yeah, that was I was beyond anything I expected.
It was tense for me from the start, right? Like,
I was puckered.
I expected so much more from Georgia. I guess we got out to, what was it, 6-0 or 8-0 start? I think 8-0. And then it was like 11-2. SLU led the entire game, wire to wire, right? Like, so it did get close at a couple points in the first half, but you had that start with all the Deion Brown layups. We hit a 3. It was 11-2, I remember. And just kind of controlled the whole tempo of the game from there. It was just really impressive. And then it wasn't just the first half, right? Like, they started 18-0 in the second half, and that put the game completely out of hand. And by the way, those 18 points came all on dunks and layups. It wasn't a team that just got like unrealistically hot from 3. We were just carving that defense up. I mean, just getting whatever they wanted at the rim.
Yeah, it was a clinic of pick and roll. It was a pick and roll clinic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was. They couldn't adjust. They didn't have even if they wanted to adjust, it felt like they didn't have the personnel.
Right.
And it was an unbelievable start. You couldn't. It was exactly like that Dayton game, in that every time we would hit a 3 in that Dayton game, I would throw my hands up like, oh, this is insane. How does this keep happening? In this one, every time we would get an open shot at the rim, you'd throw your hands up like, where's the defense? It was a bizarre experience.
It really was. And that 18-0 run was actually part of a 23-0 run stretching back to the end of the first half. So that's SLU's third run of 20 or more points this season, one of only 5 teams in the country to do that. And like we said before, the 25-point margin at the end of the game was really not indicative of how close the game was or how far it was. The Billikens led, like we said, the entire game. The largest lead was 40 points, Zach. 40 points which they reached twice late in the second half.
I will say that when Sharma hits that three at 4:17 to hit 100, Slew brought on the freshman and walk-ons. I was kind of upset. I need you out for blood for that highest score of the day. Leave your mark on the NCAA tournament. We may not beat Michigan tomorrow, but leave your mark forever. Put up ridiculous numbers and let them know you were here.
I think it would have. We would have had to score 106. I think somebody scored 105, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Was that the Florida game?
Oh, I'm talking about all time.
Oh, all time. Oh, boy,
I don't even know what it is.
We wouldn't have had that because I think Loyola Marymount scored 149 or something crazy like that. Which I think will come up in a little bit here. But you're right. He brought those guys in, and Zach, what happened after that? It got artificially close, right? It was 100-60, and then all of a sudden, UGA outscored SLU 17-2 after that Sharma 3-pointer, which was just insane.
It was the math on this game. You look at a 25-point margin to end the game. And UGA finished on a plus 15 run in the last 4 minutes and 17 seconds. That is completely batshit insane.
I know. If you showed me the final score before the game and was just like, this is what SLU's going to do, I would have been overjoyed. Let alone not having any idea that that's on the heels of like a 40-point margin with 4.5 minutes left. Just yeah, you're right. Insane. There's no other word for it. SLU's the first 9 seed or lower to hit 100 points or more in the last 15 years. Only 13 teams total have hit 100 in that span. They're also the first 9 seed, to win by 25 or more in the past decade, not including the play-in games. And they're only the second 9 seed or lower seed in tournament history to do both of those things in a single game. The other one being those go Loyola Marymount teams. This one, 1990, was an 11 seed, and I think they scored 149 on Michigan that year. So just really, really crazy achievement here, even after they let Georgia go on a plus 15 run in that last media timeout segment.
It was really annoying to watch that run too.
Yes.
Not even that I was mad. I just got tired of watching them fire up threes as soon as they came down the court.
Yeah,
that's their offense.
I think that's the part that bothered me is they were shooting so fast. And then, it's one thing when our star, Georgia is one of the fastest scoring teams in the country, right?
Yes.
And we really didn't see a whole lot of that this game until that last stretch. They would come right back down and shoot a three with 26 seconds on the shot clock. It was happening so fast, and our walk-ons couldn't even get into that, the world's worst high school zone or whatever Shirts calls it. So it was just they would just chuck something up and then get scored on so fast at the other end. I think the one that really took the cake for me was Isaac Holmes getting the 3-pointer blocked and then immediately fouling the guy. That's going to be one of those pieces of tape that they play to maybe razz him in the locker room a little bit.
60 I can't even say this with a straight face. 66 points in the paint.
Yeah.
28 for Georgia. That is the most by any team in the past 7 NCAA tournaments after many spent the week very concerned about the presence of Samto Surreal on defense.
I that's the thing that kind of surprises me the most. That's another one where if you told me ahead of time 66 points in the paint, that would have been the hardest thing to believe given what I knew about Georgia's front court coming into the game.
You probably would have misattributed how we would have scored those 66 points too. How would you have said if we did, assuming we did, what would have been your guess? Because I know, and you're not allowed to guess layups at this point because you wouldn't have.
Oh yeah, just like if you heard 66, yeah.
Yes.
So my guess would just be that we got their bigs in foul trouble immediately. That would have been my only that there's no other possibility in my mind, right? Like I would have thought, okay, Surreal got two fouls in the first, before the first media timeout. And and maybe one of their other forwards or something like that. Like there's no other.
And then Robbie just went to work and scored 66
Robbie
points.
just backed down their understudies and they weren't ready for him. Like that's all I could have thought about. I mean, it's really an amazing achievement against this team.
Another amazing achievement. Perfect segue, Peter. The Billikens had 8 points, or 8 players score 9 or more points. The first time in NCAA tournament history that has happened. That is making your mark on the tournament.
Yeah, it really is, because it's just like everybody, you're getting a little bit from everybody, and those are really, I think those are the most fun games for this team.
I think there were people on Reddit that were like, is this box score real? Like they didn't believe it.
Yeah. Oh, I was watching this other game. Is this legit? I think Dion Brown, Zach, had to be our player of the game. Started both halves with a flurry of layups. Finished 9 of 10 from the field, all at the rim. 18 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal. He often has set the tone this season with his defense, but to open both halves like that was huge. It was hilarious.
He's done that before. Like that is something we have seen from him before. I love that we're going to talk about these outgoing seniors and the way they played in this tournament, because they all played unbelievable. And it starts with Dion Brown.
All 3 of them, both games. Yeah, really, really happy with them. I just thought it was so funny in the second half that it started like that. Like I was so nervous coming out of halftime, nursing that lead and thinking like, come on, guys, like this UGA team is too good. They're too talented. And then for Dion Brown to come out and just do the exact same thing he did to start the game was genuinely hilarious. I was laughing at that point.
Pete, have we dropped a lead before? What was Stanford? Is Stanford one of the few? Did we drop a lead in that game? Like, I can't think of a game.
Yeah. Just game. So I see what you're saying. Like our other losses, we have just trailed. Stanford is the obvious one. Yes. Rhode Island.
But we weren't even like up in that game. It was a very even game the whole way through, wasn't
Stanford?
it? Yeah.
Well, so the second half we built up a nice lead. And then they just very slowly chipped. Like we were up like 14 or something like that, and it felt like it was over. And then we just kind of stopped scoring at the rim.
Got it.
And they really, really slowly chipped away at it. And then obviously we put ourselves in a position to lose under crazy circumstances at the end. So yeah, that would be the most obvious one, I think. But the other ones were kind of, George Mason at Dayton. Those were, I guess you could argue, the game with Dayton in the conference tournament, but that one had like 14 lead changes or something.
Right.
Like
that was a close game all the way through. And that's one of the few where we really did just have a close game. More about Dion. He did all of this after getting 6 stitches above his eye after catching an elbow from Paul Otieno in practice. We're going to talk more about Otieno. Yeah. He was phenomenal. And he was phenomenal, and he really, just unassuming. Robbie Avila, outstanding in this one. 12 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal, plus 30 in 28 minutes. Really, I think Robbie unlocked the Georgia defense. I don't think they knew how to defend a team with a guy of Robbie's stature and skill set. UGA had to follow them out past the perimeter. Their whole defense, it got sucked out way too high.
They did. Yeah, and they never adjusted. That's what I could not wrap my head around. They never figured
it
out.
They didn't have anybody else that could guard any, like, you change who guards Robbie, and it changes the whole system. I don't think they could have. Like, not even just their half-court defense, like you said. Robbie neutralized Georgia's press.
Yeah.
Georgia couldn't speed us up because Robbie wasn't going to let them. Robbie taking the inbounds pass and walking it up the court is, they're not Surreal. They couldn't have Surreal up and down the court, and they couldn't afford trapping Avila. with the guards and letting one of the Billikens guards get out in the open court and 2-on-1 against Surreal. So like they really had nothing. It was just the Billiken strategy and their personnel just did Georgia in.
They really did. And again, no adjustments, right? So all of the things that you said plus SLU. So by the time SLU does set up in their offense, it's just drives and cuts that are carving Georgia to pieces. Really incredible. All night long. And I was really stunned to see it happen across both halves as well. But I think,
I was waiting for us to start blowing layups, to be honest with you.
Yeah, sure. I mean, why not? You know, it was all going so well. You had that thing in the back of your head, like, okay, what point does this fall apart? But it just kept getting better and better until the last, 4:17.
Amari McCautry, we had really good Amari in this tournament.
Yeah, he was tied with Avila for second on the team at plus 30 in 27 minutes. Brown was plus 32 again, player of the game, but 13 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. He did have 3 turnovers, but he also had 3 steals. So yeah, a couple knuckleheaded turnovers that didn't ultimately matter in the context of the game. Overall, he was very, very good. And again, like doing that kind of defensive work, quietly guarding guys taller than him, using his length, using his athleticism to frustrate them. And really, honestly, they got no offense out of there. And we'll get to this, and we'll get to Georgia's personnel later. But Amari was a big reason they didn't get offensive production out of their bigs.
Remember when we would have like one dunk a season?
Oh, do I? I was on the bench for those, man. When we dunked, you had to like wipe your eyes. You're like, what? You
gave the game ball to the guy who dunked it.
I looked at these guys every day. I was like, man, if I were a foot taller, I would only dunk. It's the only thing I would do in my life. If I could actually dunk a ball. You guys are allergic to
like a long drive contest guy. Just a guy who does the Mac McClung.
That I would just carry a basketball, walk by the West Pine gym, run in there, dunk, go to math class, whatever. Like it doesn't. If I could dunk, it's all I would do.
On your spare time, you would just dunk the basketball.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Zach, I'm painfully aware of the years where we dunked maybe 2 or 3 times a year.
There were multiple times in this tournament that the Billikens put up massive highlight reel dunks. One of them was Quentin Jones. He had 9, 4, and 5. Nothing immediately that jumps out of the box score, but his dunk in the second half was vicious.
Yes, violent. He attacked. Like he was angry at somebody or something. My Lord, did he take off? It was just such a ferocious dunk. That was maybe the angriest dunk of the season. I loved it.
It was very similar to his dunk against Dayton, which also had vitriol of like a 25-point beatdown attached to it. That's true.
Yeah.
Trey Green didn't put up big numbers. He only had 7 points, but he was really, really good in many ways.
He was. His passing was excellent. 3 early assists to get that hot start going. 5 assists overall, 6 rebounds, great energy all night. I thought he was just the consummate team player in this game.
Swish on Sharma. He had 12 points, 5 rebounds, and it wasn't just 3-pointers.
No, he was great taking it to the rim, Zach, getting himself open all over the place, keeping the offense going and keeping UGA on their heels. I think he just sort of recognized, like the rest of the team, just take what they give you, right? And sometimes that just means driving to the rim.
He just has grown man energy to me. It's the moment is never too big for him. He just, I don't know. Maybe it's because he stands next to Brady Dunlap, who looks like a middle schooler. No offense, Brady. I don't know. Something about him just feels like he's a little wiser than beyond his years.
He's got really, I think some of it's in his eyes, right? His eyes are always the same no matter what the emotion is, but He's got a really intense stare. I'm thinking in particular of that screen grab after he hit that last three to make it 100 to 60. You just got him going back on defense, just staring like, yeah, what? Like, why would you expect anything else?
Yeah.
This is what I do, right?
Speaking of Brady, he was again, he was so damn good in this tournament. Watching him and Sharma perform is kind of like watching freshman McCautry at Arkansas State.
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt like their coming out party in a lot of ways. Like, but yeah, besides the fact that they've had great games all year, they just felt like they arrived and played the role to a T.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do anything wrong. Just were outstanding.
11 points, 4 of 7 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 4 assists. I think he did a good job drawing fouls. You know, most of those weren't shooting fouls, but frustrating defenders, right? I think he did a lot of the, like the shirts would say, a lot of those little things, those unseen things to drive winning, and then hit those, you know, crazy bouncy slingshot 3-pointers that he throws in as well.
I loved watching him exert his superiority in the cold ass white boy matchup with this one. Between him and Kane. By the way, it's great to see the banjo kid from Deliverance doing well.
I think Kane is from like rural Tennessee or something.
I believe it. Just generally looks like a kid from. If you told me rural Missouri, I'd be like, sure, rural Missouri it is.
Sure, yeah.
Westerville High School. No, I mean, you had that play where he is calling for the ball, and then because he knows he has Kane on him, and then beats Kane, who I've watched make dunks that, I mean, Anthony Drea, like, remember when Drea's like dunking and Isaac Elhanen's like, I've never seen a white boy dunk like that. That's the kind of, or I've never seen, like, you know, it's like, I mean, Kane is an athletic freak. And for Brady Dunlap to just drive on him and lay it in is, after calling for it, that's like, I own you. I'm going to go to the hoop. I'm going to take this ball and I'm going to go to the hoop. I'm going to demand the basketball and I'm going to go to the hoop and beat you.
Yeah, it's a perfect microcosm of what this game was, right? Like here's a guy who everybody knows his name in the SEC, SEC starter on a really talented team, tournament team. And then here's a guy who didn't play last year for a tournament team at St. John's, and not everybody outside the A-10 knows who he is, but it was our day up and down the roster.
Finally, Paul Otieno. I'm going to have much more to say on Paul O. We'll get to that in the Michigan recap, but again, did his thing in this one.
Yeah, he was very good. It never really pops off the box. Scored 9 points, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks. Great defense on their bigs, right? He and McCautry, I think, really just did a great job shutting those guys down. And his presence on the floor means a lot more to this team than people realize.
Kellen Thames was the most athletic player on the floor in this game.
Yeah, he's certainly, like, I had a ton of concerns about UGA's athleticism, and him being on the floor kind of made that look overblown. He gets the ball, he moves it in transition. He was all over the floor, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 5 of 7 from the field, finishing at the rim. He came out late in the second half, like out of halftime, I should say, right? He didn't come out of the game late in the second half. He came out of the tunnel late in the second half due to some cramping, but played 6 more minutes. He also was fighting a cold all weekend. So I think after the Michigan game, his voice was even scratchy. Yeah.
I understand that.
Even at less than ideal conditions, he was he
it was wire to wire domination. Didn't necessarily feel that way all the way through, but you look at it once you take a step back, and there was really nothing of danger from the Bulldogs. They were very docile creatures.
They sure were. They sure were. It was a little messy for some of the first half, right?
They were domesticated.
little bit of giving up some
the
offensive
Bulldogs were
rebounds.
domesticated.
Sure. Can you imagine a bulldog that is not domesticated? By the way, it doesn't even make you don't like see one out in the woods, like just fending for itself. Anyway, some of that stuff that first half, right? Like there were some stretches where it got close, turnovers, giving up offensive rebounds, missing threes, fouling too much. There are stretches like that, the kind of stuff that's killed us all year long, but they corrected all of it. And I think the offense, Zach, was a delight to watch. Despite the three-pointers not really falling until a stretch of the second half. There was so much more cutting than we've seen the past couple months, so much more motion. 13 no-dribble layups in the first half alone. I don't know what it was for the full game, but fantastic. 9 of 28 from three is not the kind of number that jumps off the page. They were only 3 of 15 in the first half from three. They left a lot of points on the table from outside and still scored 102. And they only attempted 11 free throws. It just shows you just how well the offense was working. Shirts will say we're hunting layups first. We're hunting no dribble layups first. And open threes are a byproduct of that, right? It's not the other way around. And I think this game was case in point. The threes and free throws are not a big factor, and you still score over 100.
Oh my! Well, we just need to gush some more about. Just keep going. I'm enjoying this.
We're going to do another shirtism here, right? Making all those layups, that offense is the key to defense, not allowing UGA to get out and transition and score fast. As, again, watch the last 4 minutes against the walk-ons, and you'll see that. We saw them do it a few times before that. You saw how dangerous they can be. They just want to run, get an open three as fast as possible, hit the offensive glass kind of thing. But we never really saw much of it before this game was already out of hand, right? So you make baskets, it gives your defense time to set up, and you take away their transition game. It's just those two halves feed each other. SLU's defensive communication was outstanding. I thought the effort was high. They were on the same page all night, save for a few mistakes here and there. But I know you saw it too, Zach, right? Like the defensive.
Yeah,
you could see it on the screen.
It was yes. I will say that, like, again, I saw the way Ole Miss played UGA on defense. And I looked at that and I said, SLU's done that all season. Like that's really like that's saying the way they played tonight, or not tonight, the way they played against UGA was the same defense that was just shutting down the Atlantic 10 and the non-conference. So I saw that and I was like, well, our offense is a lot better than Ole Miss. I don't see us having a problem. Like if they can't adjust to Ole Miss's defense, they sure as hell aren't going to adjust to our defense in a way that's going to be meaningful. But yeah, everybody's on the same page. Nobody really lost their man to an extent that it made a difference. It was just really, really well connected.
And I got to hand it to you, spotting that in the Ole Miss game, you were a lot more optimistic coming into this game than I was. I didn't watch the Ole Miss game. I've seen them a couple times this season, but they looked a lot better than what we saw, and I think than what Ole Miss saw in the SEC tournament. So I give you credit there. Your optimism was absolutely well founded, and for the absolute right reason too. Jeremiah Wilkinson was the only Georgia player who showed up to play. He scored 30 points off the bench. They had literally no one else who I would say turned in a good game. I think arguably one of their starters was okay, scored double digits, but we were worried about Surreal. Like you said before, he was an absolute non-factor in this game, Zach. I think he played like 12 minutes.
I mean, they like I said, all what you need to do is Surreal is just put him in as many pick and rolls as humanly possible. And get him completely disoriented. Like they pulled him away from the basket. He can no longer protect the rim. He can no longer rebound.
Yep.
You pull him away from the basket. He also can't play well in the pick and roll. That's the book on him. Shout out that YouTube channel that I watched. Unbelievable. Put out all the mini. They put out like 10-minute scout tapes on every team in the tournament. It was like. He's like, yeah, Samto can't do shit in the pick and roll. Like, okay, well, that's what we're going to do the entire game then. And sure as shit, Shirts put him in there. put him in a pick and roll the entire game. So, I mean, he just really didn't match up with this team well at all.
Yeah, that's 100% right. He was useless in this game. 12 minutes, no points, 1 rebound, 1 foul, 1 turnover, 1 steal, 0 for 1 from the field. But speaking of useless, a guy I was worried about as a matchup problem was their super athletic 6'9" forward, Cannon Catchings. He was 0 of 11 from the field. Stretches it out with his three-point shooting sometimes, 0 of 5 from out there, 4 rebounds, 2 fouls, 3 turnovers in 17 minutes. Their front court was just terrible. I mean, like, this is their front court on paper was less productive than any other front court we've played all season, including Principia. They did nothing, Zach, nothing. It was really stunning.
Yeah, I mean, their whole starting, the squad combined for 24 points. But I do want to pause and talk about like the way that like neutral fans have talked about this game. There was a lot of the SEC fans that like the Billikens dominated on the court and in preparation. But when this certain section of social media talks about the game, it's not about how SLU dominated. It's about like how bad Georgia was and how they didn't show up. And I hate that.
It's interesting to me because I've thought about this a lot more about how, it's perspective shaping narrative, right? Like everybody's own team is this sort of main character of the story. And we run into it all season long on like A10 Twitter because we'll play VCU and we'll see what they're saying versus what like we're saying and like the other people we know are saying throughout the course of a game. And it's really funny sometimes to kind of see the different spin on it through two different sides. And I'm not.
Oh, we were so horrible. We couldn't defend all night. We couldn't. Robbie got so lucky. Like, could you believe the bounce? Like how does he? He doesn't get called for any fouls. So many fouls got called on him. Like, yeah, there's some of that. Like, look at the KU and whoever just took them down. St. John's. Yeah, like that's a little outrageous. 2 versus 10, but like, I don't know. By the way, the officials in this game were great.
Yeah, I had no issues with the officials.
I mean, honestly, to be fair, I was watching it in Ballpark Village on the big screen, so like I don't have directly like on the TV, but it felt like they they understood how Robbie and the Billikens wall up and play defense. And that, so it felt great to get out from under some of the officials that we see come through Chaffetz Arena.
Yeah, for sure. I thought they were much better in this tournament than what we've seen up to this point. Zach, to put a kind of lid on this game, this gave us a program record for wins in a season with 29, which is coming into this game not something that honestly was even on my radar.
It didn't. Not maybe. I don't know. I mean, I think anybody who suggested that we should go undefeated in the A10 was probably sitting on, a new program. I mean, I didn't really know what the record was, to be honest with you. So in that sense, it wasn't on my radar.
It's kind of incredible because I think of some of the teams that we've had in the past that won a lot of games, and then you realize like we just play a lot fewer games than we used to. It's not the non-conference season. It's the conference seasons that have gotten longer. For years, we were in conferences that either played 14 or 16 games. And so you played the same amount of teams out of conference. So going into your conference tournament, now we've played 31 games. And back then, it was more like mid-20s. And so that's just, when you kind of put it in those terms, you go, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense because we're a team that's never made that deep NCAA tournament run that can give you up to 6 more games, right? We've only gotten 2 more games out of the NCAA tournament. So 30 wins, it makes sense that we've never gotten there. But anyway, I was kind of like, whoa, that's cool. 29. I didn't see that coming. Also a program record for points in an NCAA tournament game. Not surprising.
No shock there.
Margin of victory in a tournament game as well. So even though we've won a good handful of tournament games in the first round, never like that. Tournament marks for field goals and assists both make sense there. 42 or 27 assists on 42 field goals, by the way, is just excellent stuff. That has, any coach is going to be really, really happy with that. This is only the third time, by the way, that SLU and Georgia have played each other. The first two games were that home and home back in 2009 and 10. You might remember that second one as the Rob Lowe coming out party. How I remember that game, he was a freshman. I think he scored like 19. And I could have sworn we won that game, but we lost by 2. So this was actually our first ever win over Georgia.
By the way, that I had forgotten the 20-point victory over New Mexico State. I mean, I knew we beat them, but I didn't remember it being a 20-point beatdown.
We held them to 44 or 46.
Yeah. Which is that's a whole different.
They had nothing on us, man.
That's a 35-second shot clock, right?
Yeah, and that was just that was Cruz. Oh, it was right after. It was Cruz, but that was a Majerus schooled team, just doing what they do and like conceding nothing on defense. Really incredible.
Yeah, what a game.
Yeah.
What a fun time. What did you do to watch
blast.
this? Did you just watch this at home?
I just watched it at home. I was let's see, this was the 9. Yeah, we didn't actually start tip until what, like 10:10 or something like that. So it was pretty late. It was close to 2 by the time I actually went upstairs. Because of wanting to get my thoughts down for the show notes and all of the conversation, post game conferences and all the conversation being had online. It was about 2 before the time I shut it down for the night. Still made it up in time to get the kids to school and to work the next day. But yeah, that was a late night. It was a late night.
I couldn't fall asleep. I laid in bed and just couldn't.
So what was the scene at Ballpark Village and did you stay long after it?
I didn't stay too long after the game. It was a good crowd. It wasn't like packed. It wasn't like Humphreys looked like it was like ass to ankles.
Yeah.
But it was good. At one point they did I guess the giveaway. I get the guys gave away some Billiken mini Nike basketballs. Okay. And they did they asked for somebody with something Billikens, and like the first 3 were like a white Billiken hat, a blue Billiken jersey, a white Billiken jersey, and then the final one was a Billiken tattoo.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I went ahead and took the basketball. I got up there and showed. I guess you could probably watch the guy's video. I'm sure I made it in there somewhere.
Showing off the Billiken, huh?
Yeah, it was awesome, man. We sat up in that that VIP area behind the bar on that main level. Yeah. So it was just open. So we sat at the bar right there. So we're sitting in almost like the bar the bar version of an Adirondack chair.
Okay.
It's like a Dr. Evil chair.
Yeah, sure.
And I mean, I didn't sit much for the entire game, but it was a good crowd. And an FKU chant broke out, and I was not happy with that. Like, why do we care? Like, why are we worried about that?
Yeah.
But
not even in the same region.
I could not. I can't imagine what it was like in Buffalo on Thursday night. That had to have been a good time.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. It's so late, by the time it was after midnight, when people are coming out of the arena, that on Thursday you worry about like what's even still going to be open, for the people who are like, okay, I need a nightcap before I make it back to the hotel or whatever.
Well, you got to get inside. If you're in Buffalo around this time of year, you got to get inside or you risk frostbite.
That's a good point. There was snow on the ground when they got up there.
Those poor. You know what? I'm just gonna say this. I think the people that stayed in St. Louis actually won with the weather because it's it's been like 80 here the last 2 days.
That's true. It got up to the mid 80s here today.
Let's talk about Pete, let's move on to the 95-72 loss against number 1 seed Michigan, Saturday the 21st. How were you feeling going into this game?
Yeah, honestly, Zach, really calm. All of the nerves I had for Georgia did not carry over to this game for Michigan. I think I looked at, they're a 1 seed. They were the team that I thought of, that I just kind of had in my head after seeing them early in the season a couple times, thinking just like, this is the best team in the country. Like I remember texting friends earlier this season, like, this is one of the best college teams I've ever seen. I thought they were just so well put together, so big, so talented, so good at every position, just about as good a college basketball team as you could assemble. And I know they slowed down a bit as the season went on, and that's one of the things that kind of gave me some optimism, right? Coming into this game, they were not world beaters in that first game against a 16 seed Howard. They had only.
I mean, 5 versus 1 guy named Howard. They got to win by more than they did.
Right. I mean, Howard's a feisty dude. He puts up a good fight. Not his first time.
Apparently, he's tall, because you have to be tall to beat this team.
Gotta be.
Oh my God.
Good shooter. And so Michigan, they lost a couple games. They lost that game to Duke in the middle of the Big Ten season, and then I don't think they won another Big Ten game after that by more than 10, except for one time. So like there was a way to kind of squint and look at them and go, you know what? Like, as good as I thought they were all season, there's a little window here. Like, there's a little kind of like, if everything goes right and we're hitting our threes, and like you could see a scenario in which we hang around for long enough to make them have to make plays at the end or something like that. Yeah. So I was honestly like zen, like perfectly calm coming into this game, Zach. I don't know if it was the time of day, noon on a weekend, just sitting here, like windows open, breeze running through, nice weather for the first time this year. I don't know what it was. Were you as nervy as you were against Georgia, or were you where I was for this game?
I was completely unpuckered. I was sitting back, and I was, I went into this one where, like, this is a celebration of Billiken basketball. You're going up against the number 1 seed. There's a massive opportunity, but you have no pressure. We could be either way at the end of this game. We're going to be celebrating. It's just to what extent and how sloppy are we getting? We're either not going to get sloppy and we're just going to say some nice things, or we're going to pop the champagne and drink the whole bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about it already, and the bottom line here is Michigan's really, really good. A $20 million roster does $20 million roster things. And I mean, Arizona, other than Arizona and maybe Houston, I think anybody other than Michigan in this tournament. And we are in Chicago this Friday.
I do wonder about that, because as much as some of the things, and we'll get into it, that didn't go our way in this game, we were in this game. With about 13-14 minutes left in the second half, we were very much in this game, and you do wonder what that looks like against another team, let alone a 2 or 3 seed, right? If we're not a 9, if we're not on that 8-9 line. But the other just backing up a minute to something you said, Zach, like, yeah, that's a $20 million roster, but that's also a $20 million roster with one of the best coaches in college basketball. Like, Dusty May is great. Yeah. And Kentucky is a more expensive roster, and they're a 7 seed, and they were bounced, today in the second round. So I want to make clear, like, you're right. Like they had a level of size and talent that SLU just did not have, and that you can't buy with $3 million that you can buy with $20 million. But you still have to be the person who puts those pieces together, makes it fit, and then maximizes all of their productivity. And that's what May does.
I read somewhere, or one of the message boards, or Twitter or Discord, where someone said that against Georgia, we played like an NBA team. We scored like an NBA team. We played like Michigan looks like an NBA team. And they play like one too. Yeah. They are huge. Size, I mean, their size like is that of an NBA team. And they have a point guard who does not have size. He's the only guy without size. But he was also incredibly experienced, incredibly sought after. And he can score the ball like crazy.
He started out 2 seasons at UNC. He's gone deep into the NCAA tournament. He was I want to say 5-star coming out of high school. I remember him, from following recruiting 4 or 5 years ago. Coming out of high school, he was a sensational point guard talent at like 15, 16 years old. Everybody in college already knew who he was. He was that kind of point guard. So that's the one guy who isn't a giant, right? Then you've got Ade Mara, the 7'3" center. I
hate this guy.
Yeah, SLU had no answer for this guy. He was great, especially in the first half. He plugged up the middle, and unlike Georgia, their defense did not get pulled out high, so SLU didn't get nearly as many opportunities at the rim. I'm thinking of like McCautry's triple pump fake, where he didn't bite and just blocked it into the stands.
This is okay. 2 things. This is one of the things that I thought SLU players could have done better on. Yeah. And I thought maybe they could have been a little more prepared with an idea of what they were going to do when they got to this position. But I don't blame them because Ade Mara is 7'3" and he has my athleticism. Like, I'm not saying that I'm an athletic specimen, but most 7'3" centers can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time.
You just brought up New Mexico State and Sim Bular, who was I would consider a novelty player, right? Like 7'5", and you could put him in for a minute and a half at a time because he could barely move. This guy was 7'3" and skilled. Like he's from Spain and he has that kind of Euro game a little bit. I'm thinking of like the ball fake on Avila, where Avila's guarding him, and he strings the ball out over Avila's head. Avila turns his head a full 180, loses him, and he fooled one of the cameramen too on that, right? So it's that kind of. It doesn't have to be like the crazy athleticism that they have at the other 4 positions, but he has that skill, that 7'3" guy with skill like that, who can he had a little baseline hook shot that he had working for him, right? That he was making from about 6 feet out. He made it from both sides, and it was just like, oh boy, if he's going to do that, and then he's going to do the ball on a string, there's not a whole lot you can do at that point.
Yeah, he's. By the way, when Robbie tells the story of this tournament to Robert Avila Jr., I'm sure he'll leave out that play.
Yeah, that's right. He totally fooled me on this one, kid. Your old man bit on that one.
And you mentioned that turnaround. He was, I would love to see the clock on the time he got the pass the time he put up the shot. Yeah. It was lightning fast. You had no chance to defend it. He's 7'3". It's impossible for you to get up there that quickly to block his shot or get a hand in his face.
So big, so skilled, so methodical. Just how it goes.
Did you see the picture, the video of the 6'8" player next to the French kid from Florida?
Yeah, Olivier Rioux. Yeah, he's huge. 7'9", right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yaxel Lendenborg. Dumb name. Good player.
I had to look it up because I was like, is this like, what is this? Is this like Dutch or something?
What is he?
He's born in Puerto Rico, but he's got 2 Dominican parents. So he's a bit of a blend, right? He's Puerto Rican, Dominican, couple other. Yeah, he's got a lot going on, but he's 6'9". He's first team All-American, Big Ten Player of the Year, and honestly, the Big Ten's very good this year. He's the one who put the game out of reach, Zach. As much as we give respect to their 7'3" guy, this was the guy. He finished with 25 points, scored about every way a player can score. Highlight reel dunks, followed by 3-pointers that looked perfect coming out of his hand. I mean, the guy was just phenomenal.
The number of alley-oops they like. Shirts, what were you doing? Why were you not preparing for it? I'm just kidding. Seriously, though, like the amount of alley-oops they ran a full court reverse alley-oop.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It was pretty amazing. My wife and kids were out for the first half, and they came in a little bit into the second half. And by the time they all got in and got settled and everything, and she sits down next to me and is like, "So how's it going?" And it was like in the second half as they were just starting to pull away. And that's when he made a couple of those plays, like a big dunk, hit a 3 or 2. And I was just like, yeah, watch this guy right here. I was like, so that, and then that. And I was like, and this is about the point that's the danger zone for us, because I think he's just putting the game out of reach. And then he did like one more thing. And I was like, yeah, there it is. Okay. That's the game. And this guy we just don't have an answer for. And she watched him and like within 2 minutes was just like, oh yeah, he's the All-American, right? Unbelievable player. I think he's 23 or 24. He's a guy who was like,
get a job.
He was like a non-qualifier out of high school and went to JUCO and went to UAB for a couple of years and then wound up at Michigan. So I actually remember him, Zach. Ford's staff looked at him out of JUCO. And when he wound up going to UAB, because he was this big time JUCO prospect, like everybody in the nation wanted him. I don't know how UAB got him. I don't know how they kept him for 2 seasons. I was amazed by that. So
I don't know how they didn't do anything with him.
By the time he went to Michigan, it was like, well, yeah, of course he should be at this level, and of course he tears it up at this level. He's just really that good, and that's honestly before you get to Morez Johnson and Namari Burnett, the other 2 starters who also finished in double digits, also made good plays. I mean, this team, Zach, is good, good. I watching them against us, I thought if they don't win the tournament, either there's Arizona or Houston or somebody else is having a fantastic game, or Michigan just has the worst game that they've had, because they were phenomenal.
And this was the best game they had probably played in a month. I mean, Michigan, they had a plan. And we knew these coaches knew everything about each other's team, and they executed. They rotated, they played hard, they moved the ball, they took good shots. I will say, and I'll mention it. Should I wait till we get to the Otieno stuff? We'll wait for Otieno. I'll talk about the one thing that I thought Shirts probably should have tried. And we'll get into it. But again, this is a game that I don't think I think it was gonna I think there was a very small window for the Billikens to win this game the way that Michigan played. I don't think SLU could have the way Landenborg kind of took over there. It was not gonna happen. It was not gonna be our night. Let's see. The 3-point shooting wasn't there for the Billikens. That would have kept this game winnable. They just went 31%, 10 of 32. Avila was 3 of 10, 5 in the first half. I believe he missed. Or he was 1 for 5 in the first half. Sharma 1 for 6, 1 for 6 from Green. That's 5 of 22 right there. I mean, there was some free throw issues. Again, if you hit 6 threes, that's 18 points. You make 4 more free throws. That's 22. There's a path. There's a path. But I mean, Avila, first attempt, he makes it, and you think, all right, it's on.
Right. Yeah. And then he has that awkward foul, right, where he gets called for a foul. Somehow 2 SLU players get poked in the eyes on one play. His goggles are coming off. He's rubbing his eyes. He didn't hit another 3 the rest of his half. But then he hits his first couple attempts of the second half, right? A couple of other guys got in on the action. SLU got to within 4 points, and there's 13, 14 minutes left, and you think, all right, here we go. Like, here we go. Like, this is a game now. Like, it was right before halftime. You're getting to a point where you're a little nervous. Like, is this getting away from us a little too early? But instead, we come out in the second half, and it wasn't like a big run or anything. It was just kind of chipping away, getting a kind of stop here, hitting threes. And instead, after that second 3-pointer, instead of us like keeping the game close, that's when Michigan's big run started, and the game was out of reach after that. I think it was something like a 22-10 stretch for Michigan after that. So they're up 16, and then they just kind of built on it from there, Zach. So they teased us a little bit, right? Into almost to the second media timeout, I think.
Yeah, I think this really was like every time we would go on a run, they would find a second wind. And they would find it quickly.
Yeah. That's right. That's a big part of it. They do what they do very fast, very efficient.
Avila ended up with 9 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists. Probably not the game he wants to end his career, his college career on. Just not his matchup, man. I'll just go through it now. Like the Billikens went on their biggest run when Otieno was in the game. And I don't think it was solely Otieno. I think the combination of Otieno, you had Kellen Thames, you had Deion Brown, I believe was in the game at that point. Just your deep. I felt like you probably have to hang your hat on defense in that game. You are not going to outscore Kansas, or not Kansas. Jesus Christ, who the hell did we play? You're not going to outscore Michigan. And I would have probably ridden Otieno's game a little bit more. I would have maybe not brought Avila in right away. I would have seen how long we could really push. Like what in a game like that, I feel like when you are on a run, you cannot afford to stop that, to change things up. Like you have to just continue down that path and really milk every run for what it's worth. And I might not have brought Otieno back out of that game. Now, again, I'm so happy with the way this season went, and I'm so happy with the way the Billikens performed in the NCAA tournament. This is the one fault I could really find with Josh Schertz and his game plan in this one, or his in-game coaching.
Yeah, I think he's just one of those guys, and we've seen it throughout the season. It's worked more often than it hasn't, where he's just gonna let his top players be the ones to decide the game, right? Think about McCautry at VCU and how we were all like, get him out of there, get him out of there, get him out of there. That's too many mistakes in a row. And all he does is hit the dagger 3-pointer that leads to the rest of us, the avalanche that ended that game. And so I think that's just kind of who Schertz is. And it's hard to envision a scenario in which he let Robbie Avila's career end, sitting out most of the second half on the bench, right? So
fair enough.
I don't disagree with you that I probably would have balanced it a little bit more, and kind of seen if there was another run in there somewhere with that lineup. I can also see how that just didn't happen.
Yeah, and and we did have a really nice, we had at least one nice run in the second half with Avila in the game. Totally get that. So I'm not going to say that Robbie was bad in this game. Like he wasn't. He was good in this game.
Just not a great matchup for him.
Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it. It's I don't know. I had something and then I spaced.
McCautry, Zach, was actually
he was great. Second, their leading scorer in this one, 14, 7 of 11 shooting.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would have guessed that just based on watching the game. At the end of the game, if you asked me who the top scorer was, I probably would have been like, I don't know. Like you could have told me there were 6 guys with 11 points, and I would have gone, sure. Yeah, that's about right. I don't know. It just, that's not really how I absorbed this game necessarily, but he added 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 turnovers. He left the floor on crutches after like a awkward block attempt right at the end. Came down awkwardly. It sounds like it's a hyperextended knee and not the most severe version of that. He says he'll be fine soon. I hope he's right. When you look up hyperextended knee, it can be anything from sore for a couple weeks to torn ligaments. So, that's kind of a broad term and not very specific. But anyway, it's the early indications are that it's not anything too serious.
Yeah, I had at least one person texting me thinking if he tore his ACL, it was going to be like end of days. Like he was ready to just like pack it in.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been a tough way to end the season with that happening on, the last play in garbage time.
That was not a fun. The only unfun thing about that Michigan game was the block. The block ending the game. The last Who was that on? Who did that who got blocked there? Was that Thames?
For the very last play of the
game?
Yeah. That was actually on
who got blocked?
McCautry.
Oh yeah. Oh, right on same play. Yeah, that would have been not great. Again, Dion Brown. I love how he played in this tournament. He had 4 and 7, he went 4 for 7, 1 for 2, and 4 for 5, 13 points. His free throw, he did miss the front half of a 1-and-1. I thought his free throw shooting was about the only thing that let him down in this tournament.
Who, Brown?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 4 or 5 though, still not bad.
I thought he would get worse than that. That's wild.
Yeah, no, and in the first
game, it seemed
game,
like he did worse.
I don't think he even went to the line in the first game. But
you know who was awesome at the line? Otieno.
Yeah, he was. Although he actually missed a front end in this game.
Yeah,
I believe.
I think he shot 90% for the tournament.
I know. That was like the one he missed. It was really unexpected. But yeah, you're right. Like Dion Brown, love how he played. Never let a big play kind of get him down. Always battled right back. I think we're really going to miss what he does. But Zach, I think Kellen Thames had the highlight of the day, right? And I mean, it was after the Lendeborg dunk that that sent. That of course, like if you're looking at our Twitter feed at that time, I think all of the 40 most prominent college basketball accounts tweeted that video at the same time. So I felt like I was just watching that huge dunk over and over and over on us. And then Kellen Thames went right back down to the other end.
Yeah.
I thought his dunk was every bit as good just because of, what he did.
Yeah. He went over a 7'3" guy. How many 7'3" guys really get put on a poster like that? And with the athleticism that Mara has, I thought there were a couple. Dion Brown, he did the same thing early in the game when there was a big dunk against us. It might have been, I don't know, but it was the alley-oop that was just ridiculous. Where I think the 7'3" guy just kind of like hooked past it.
Yes, that's right.
And then Dion Brown took the ball, went down, got fouled, and got to the line. And that might have been the one where he made both of those.
I think that was the one where you were like, Dion Brown did not let the big highlight play.
No,
right?
No, not at all. He said, you know what, dude, like that's that's a loud 2 points. Like a baseball guy, that's a loud foul ball. Or it's a loud strike.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
I loved that.
Yeah. That's right. And so he goes back down and gets a quick 2 points the other way.
Yeah.
Counts for just as much. I think, so Thames didn't really get it done for the line, 2 of 6. Obviously, the big dunk, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 steal, and he did it all while he was sick. I think he acquitted himself well, though.
He and McCautry have done or have improved their free throw shooting drastically towards the end of this season.
I think they have. Yeah, as some of our other shooting has become a little less efficient, I think we went from the the top 3-point shooting team in the country to like number 2 or 4 or something like that recently, because we haven't been hitting over 40% in our more recent games, but the free throw shooting has gone the other direction. It has gotten way better, and those two are a big part of it. But I think Zach Otieno is the other player to single
Oh
out.
man.
Again, his presence was essential in keeping us in the game for the first 30 minutes. I think he was just a better matchup, like you said, than Avila was overall, even if we weren't going to ride that, lineup the whole way through. And it wasn't really something that showed up in the stat sheet, right? Just 5 and 2. But sure, it's talked all season about how he drives winning with all the little things. And we saw that version of him against Michigan, just as we did against Georgia.
He was outstanding. I don't think I've ever I know we had what was his name? African played under Ford. I can't think of his name. Came from Oregon.
Yeah, you're talking about Okoro.
Yeah.
Francis
I mean, Okoro had, he was great with his hands. I thought, I don't know, I feel like Paul Otieno was the most complete basketball playing big man that we've had. No, I mean, and Robbie's Robbie. Robbie's a different breed altogether. He's
his own
right?
thing. Yeah.
But Otieno as a standard 5 is one of the most skilled 5s we've had come through this program. His free throw shooting is incredible. Yeah. He made that. How many times watching the Billikens have you seen? I think it might have been Georgia. It was the Georgia game where the ball comes to him and he tips it up in the air and then he gets it and he just kind of lays it over the rim. And how many times have you seen a Billiken big man just completely overshoot that? And just his touch
goes straight up.
Yeah, his touch is super underrated. He made the play against Georgia again, another one against Georgia. I'm going back to Georgia, but he drove to the rim and got bodied. It was a dump down pass, and he goes in and just bodies up and gets the and one. I mean, he was so good. I want to see the version of this Michigan game where he plays. Him and Robbie maybe balance their minutes a little bit more. I would have loved to see it.
Yeah. He's a 59%, field goal shooter overall for the season, 78% from the free throw line. You love that efficiency from that position. It's just not something we've typically had, as you said, historically at SLU. And yeah, we're definitely going to miss him for a lot of reasons. I think he was just very, very good. Dunlap finished with 9 on the 3 threes we mentioned before. Sharma ended up with 8. Jones was 7. Green just had that 1 3-pointer we mentioned. So those guys were all okay, but I really think, if a couple of them are feeling it from 3 earlier in this game, if they're connecting, maybe this is one that we hang around a lot longer than we did. And give them a run at the end. It just wasn't our day from outside, and you needed more of those guys, some combination of those 4 to be clicking, and they just weren't. In terms of rebounding, Zach, SLU was out-rebounded 42-27. It seems obvious, but Michigan just made more shots, 56% from the field. They were 48% from 3, 70% from free throw, and then they beat SLU on the offensive glass 11-5. And it honestly...
It felt like we were going to make them beat us from outside. And they did.
Yeah, right. And I thought the offensive glass could have been worse too, right? Like how many times have we given up more than 11 against teams that aren't nearly as good as this one? So
right.
I honestly 11-5 is something that I could have dealt with. Sure, it said before the games, there are certain things about this Michigan team that you have to just accept, that you have to concede as something that's going to be something that you don't win. And I think that was probably one of them that I easily would have given up. But he had a lot more to say about the game, Zach. He said it's hard to beat this team when they're at their A, and we just weren't able to make them play bad enough. But he said, I'm proud of my team. The result isn't what we wanted, but they fought tooth and nail. A little undermanned, but not in terms of fight and competitiveness. We hit a 3 to cut it to 61-57, and I thought we had a chance to win the thing. I really did. I think he might be wrong on that score, by the way. I want to say it was 57-53 when it was a 4-point margin. But I'll double check that. But
Hire him.
I think a lot of this is just it's one of those things where he has so much respect. Yeah, it was 57-53. Yes, it was 61-55. So anyway, that's as close as we got. It was 15-50, 57-53 was that margin. But anyway, you can tell he just has a ton of respect for Michigan, and I certainly do after watching this game.
Yeah, I mean, besides the fact that it's just bought, like, completely, just a, I don't know. The stakes
I
seem to have. It hurts. I don't like. It doesn't feel good to just kind of go into a game just not having a shot. Almost. You have to play your A game when you're one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is a top 8 team in the country. The way they played this weekend, regardless of what Michigan did, I think Michigan is that good.
Yeah.
The Billikens have played basketball for 110 years. Well, actually, I guess St. Louis has because the Billikens have only been around. Well, I guess same time. It's about the same time.
Yeah, no, that would be it.
Okay. It's the most games won of any of those teams.
Yeah.
And he talked a lot about Robbie. That Robbie's had more to do with winning than anybody everywhere he's gone.
Yep.
Shot variance was not in our favor according to Schurz.
No, it wasn't. He said Slew had a tough night shooting the 3 and from the free throw line, and you have to be just about perfect to beat Michigan. He said, we believed we could beat them. It's not a best of 7. It's just one game. Shooting variance needed to be in our favor and was not in our favor. We had a game plan to take what we could away. You can't grow in 24 hours. We knew there were limitations. We wore down a little bit with that size and physicality over the course of the game. And he reiterated that just the difference between Michigan and other well-funded teams is just how well the pieces fit together. It's a well-constructed team. He has all the respect and faith in the world in Dusty May and his ability to coach at that level and everything. And I think their results speak for themselves. That's a fantastic team that is well-positioned to win 4 more games in this tournament, I think, Zach. And yeah, if they don't, mad respect to whoever is able to knock this team off, man.
Dion Brown talked a little bit after the game, and so did Avila. Both some interesting quotes. Why don't you run us through those?
Yeah, so Brown said St. Louis has been my favorite city to play in so far. Just the atmosphere, the community, how they wrap their arms around you from day one. It's like something I've never seen before. To be able to come here and have an impact on the team has really been a blessing. He made it sound like he's still interested in playing the next level, maybe here in the U.S., maybe overseas, but acknowledges that, with his size, he's going to have to be a distributor. So he's just kind of looking at his next steps and what he's going to do. But everything I've heard is that he and his family have been really, really happy with the choice they made to come to St. Louis. He wanted to make a tournament. And, when you go from the ACC to the A10, it doesn't seem like the most logical leap necessarily, but they got it right both ways. Slew got it right with him, and he got it right as well. They asked Robbie, of course the media afterwards had more for Robbie than they did for Dion. If you've been following along the last 2 years like you and I and most of the people listening to this have, there wasn't a whole lot new here. But he talked about his influences in terms of NBA players and then coaches over the years and how they've shaped his game and given him a lot of opportunities to play an unconventional style. It just hasn't been shirts, but from the beginning, dealing with his stardom as kind of like a college basketball folk hero, But what I thought was the most interesting, Zach, is when Robbie was talking, Shirts was the most I don't know if he must have had like a stat sheet in front of him or something like that. And he was just locked in on that, right? Like his eyes were just staring down at that paper. And I think it was one of those things where it's setting in at this moment for both of these guys that this is the last game that they've played together, that they're going to play together. And they've been seeing each other just about every day for the last 4 years. And this is a player coach relationship that is just not common. And I think like you could almost see it. Like I'm really glad I watched the press conference because it was just normally Schertz is one of these people who's good with eye contact and you can see his wheels spinning, but it almost looked like he was just frozen. He was just staring down right in front of him, and that I found just really fascinating. For these guys, like just to be hit in that moment and just trying to kind of keep it together because Schertz knows in a minute the players are going to be dismissed and then he's going to have another 15 minutes of questions. So yeah, just kind of fascinating stuff to see, and I'm really interested to see what more there is for each of those two to say over the next couple months as school winds down and we kind of figure out what Avila is going to do next and stuff like that. It's going to be really emotional and bittersweet for these guys, but I got to tell you, man, like I could not be more thrilled that they got their tournament together. They got their ride, they got their shot at a number one against a good friend, and they, it was it's what you wanted when they came to SLU. Yeah, would we have loved it twice? Of course. But it's at this point it is unimaginable to me how I would feel if Robbie Avila did not get his shot at an NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and to do it with a team with almost zero tournament experience.
That's right.
Schertz has Division II
Yes.
NCAA tournament experience, but it was the first time for almost everyone in that locker room, from players to staff. Dunlap was on the St. John's team hurt, so he was never going to play. Bovair was on the bench for a tournament game, maybe. But that's it, man. That's it. So
this was it was a completely fresh experience for all of these guys, and I do wonder because like you got to feel like okay, like SLU is in a position now with Schertz coming back. Like this is the idea this is a regular occurrence. This is a regular occurrence for this program now, right? Like this is where we are now building ourselves to make it every year. And I'm going to be interested to hear a year from now, 2 years from now, what are the experiences what are the things that surprised them about this experience? What were the things that they felt like they were over prepared for or under prepared for their first tournament weekend, right? Like it's a very, very different experience than just playing in a regular season.
Sure. I think this team experience wise has a lot in common with that 11-12 team.
I've been thinking about those teams, Zach, and what's the right comp, and that the 2012 is a good one because you get the big emotional ending for not Schertz and Avila, but Majerus and Conklin, right? You've got Conklin breaking down at the press conference, which was a really emotional moment. So I think there's definitely a really strong parallel there because that was another team that were they the 9 that beat 8 seed Memphis or were they the 8 that beat the 9? But they were on that 8-9 line and had to play one. Had to go up. So they had to go up against number 1 Michigan State, and that's where the season ended. So I think there's a really clear parallel to that team. But I do want to go back really quick and look at how the rest of that season ended because in another sense, so they were still playing pretty well when that season wound down. Yeah, they only had one loss in February, and they lost in the second round of the NCAA tournament to Xavier, a very good Xavier team.
I was there.
So they were playing really good ball down the stretch that season. I also thought, Zach, about the team 2 years later, right? The 2014 team. That's the team that had the 19-game winning streak, and all of a sudden they lost 3 of their last 5. And it just seemed like they ran out of gas. And then even against NC State, it looked like they were not going to come back. They were down 14 and then managed to pull out that win before losing in the next round. So I think for different reasons, you can draw parallels to both of those teams, right?
Yes. By the way, Iowa just took down Florida.
Are you kidding me? Oh, wow.
No.
I'm not in front of a screen right now.
No, I know. I know. Where is that, in Tampa? Yeah, you couldn't have sent us to freaking Tampa, could you? You sons of bitches.
Now there's that's a D2 graduate coach right there, at McCullum, who just did that. And wow, holy cow, 73,
Yep.
72. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, any final thoughts here on this season? We're obviously going to do a major post-mortem episode down the way. I mean, like the season was, after letting it play out all the way through. I mean, this season was everything you could have asked for. And I really, really think that Josh Schertz can do anything he wants here.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah. I'm fully sold that he's just the guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna next week's gonna be our big season recap where we kind of put it all in perspective. But just the quick thoughts, Zach. I think you're right. Josh Schertz is the guy. And if whatever he wants here, as far as I'm concerned, go ahead, do it. I think you got to have the model here where you've got a head coach who has the mentality, he's got the talent, he's got the vision, and let the man cook. We don't need to be a situation where you have a GM come in and get involved and things get messy. Like this is the guy. This is the guy, and as long as he wants to stay here, I want it to be his program. Really happy with the staff he's put together. He did the best he could in year one, but to absolutely nail roster construction in year two, like you look at all of the transfers we brought in, we hit on all of them, every single one of them. We hit on, and so that's a really rare thing to do in this day and age, where you're bringing in guys for 1, 2, maybe if you're lucky 3 years from other schools. And for them, no matter what class they are, to all fit together this year and work is borderline miraculous. So I'm just really happy with where the program is and where it has the potential to go. And really looking forward to kind of fleshing that out a lot more next week with you. But I don't know where you're sitting right now. It's always tough to lose
at home
in the it's at home. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's always tough to lose, and 67 out of 68 teams do go home at some point in this tournament, and we did better than half of them. So I'm grateful to get that tournament, get another win, get a national exposure for our guy Robbie Avila, who deserves it more than anybody, and the other seniors, and just way more positives than I expected to take away at the end of this season, and I'm thrilled right now, Zach.
This is the only the second time in history that SLU and Michigan have met. Michigan beat SLU 80-78 at the Rainbow Classic in Hawaii in December of 1970. Pete, I wish that's an experience, like flying on the plane with like in the 70s to Hawaii. That had to be like just the complete different experience that air travel was then. And then,
oh yeah.
And then obviously, like I imagine like a smoke-filled Honolulu International Center, very visually like semi-pro.
Yes. Huge lapels on like maroon suits,
yes.
Like coaches with like thick hair and thick glasses. Yeah, ripping cigs all the way between the continental US and
in the locker room
on the plane to Honolulu. Full ashtrays in the armrests.
That's what America was America, Pete.
As I was writing that down in the notes, I was like, take me to the Rainbow Classic in 1970 Hawaii. Man, would that
You think Harry Rogers was ripping darts on that plane?
Oh, you know it. You just know it. It was that I would have loved to be on that plane.
That's how he kept his lungs strong for games.
Yeah, that's right. You got to do that at altitude.
Joe Wiley was the grad assistant on that team.
I mean, come on. That would have been a fun road to sit in.
Yeah. By the way, the fact that Brian Kunderman has the entire coaching staff, including the graduate assistant, Like, that's crazy. Like, that's such good work. I mean, Bob Polk, Tom Stanton, Randy Albrecht. Who doesn't remember assistant coach Tom Stanton, Pete?
Who doesn't? It would be disrespectful
Um,
not to, Zach.
let's see. Carlos Martinez was on that team. That was before you could see his Twitter favorites.
That's a deep cut for St. Louis sports fans right there.
I gotta put in one every game or every episode.
I know you do.
Oh man, I think we gotta. Do we gotta leave the season behind here? I think we do.
I think we do, Zach, and then next week we do kind of just a deep dive on the season. We'll recap it. We'll see where we sit going into next season, and then start kicking off whatever news starts coming up in the off season.
Pete, let's kick it around the A10, but this feels more like an all-encompassing NCAA segment and some bonus Travis Ford discussion.
We've got plenty of little fun surprises for people here now. But first off, we got to thank our sponsor, Two Men in a Garden, Zach. They're just great stuff. We love them, and we're thrilled, to partner with them. Go to their website and you get free shipping when you put in MMP. It's our code at checkout. As far as I know, that is still good. But go over there on their website too. Check out everything they have. Check out their partner products. They're really expanding what they're doing over there. Not all of it's on their website yet, but go to their Instagram and you'll see some of the other stuff that they are that they're kind of partnering with. One of those is Ethnix Foods, ETHNIX. They're doing some hot sauces that are really good. You can find those around town. Look it up and you can see what stores those might be available at. But Two Men in a Garden is just one of these local companies that it's so cool how they, as they kind of scale up, are able to uplift a lot of other local producers who are making great stuff. And they support us too, obviously, as local mom and pop as it gets, our little podcast here. And they're doing that for a lot of other people. So go support them, and you're supporting a lot more businesses when you do. twomenandagarden.com. Zach, the A10 this week, most of the rest of the league, as we know, is in the NIT. Our buddies over at VCU, obviously, we're in the NCAA tournament, got the first round win just like us. And then bowed out in the second round. That was kind of a tough one, but good effort from them. They battled hard, but that one got away from them.
Yeah, Pete. I mean, you forget that these poor programs in the A10 had to settle for the NIT. I forgot they existed for a minute. We were all in our own little world up here in the big bad NCAA tournament. I can't imagine what it would be like to not make the tournament. It would be awful.
No, I don't even remember what that's like.
I don't know what that's like anymore.
You have to ask Dayton.
Yeah. Liberty beat George Mason 77-71. This was at George Mason for the last time this season. George Mason just proving me right that they are fraudulent.
Except for the one game where they beat us.
Yeah, well, and you know what? That was a fluke. Flukes and frauds.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State, Pete. They pulled out a comeback win after being down to Davidson at halftime, 84-80. They were down 50-40 at half.
Yeah, they were. I kind of thought Davidson kind of had them where they wanted, but no, eventually they got overtaken by Oklahoma State. I think they had a little more depth than Davidson in that game. They were pretty worn down. St. Joe's went out west to Colorado State and took them down 69-64 at altitude.
That's a nice win for them.
We do. It's a very nice win. They do better at altitude than I do. Dayton 80, Bradley 66. That one was never really close. George Washington 79, Utah Valley 78 at Utah Valley. All three A10 wins in the first round were on the road. In the second round, Zach, Dayton made pretty easy work of UNC Wilmington on the road. GW and St. Joe's are in progress as we speak on Sunday night, but both teams are trailing. GW looks like they're just about done at New Mexico. St. Joe's and Cal are actually much earlier in the game, so that one could still swing either way. And then, as I said before, VCU was in the NCAA tournament, but you guys all know by now, as the 11 seed, they took out number 6 UNC, and then they lost by 21 to 3 seed Illinois in the second round. So Rams Bills were neck and neck all season. Zach finished first in the conference and had more or less the same results in the NCAA tournament. So, you know,
Is the Pepis overrated?
I think I think they've got to be, just because like there's no student pep band that deserves that much hype. It's like people treat them like it's Beatlemania or something. I'm like they're a good.
The guys who wears like, if I don't care who we beat in the first round of the NCAA tournament, I'm not wearing their jersey during the second game of the tournament.
You know, all the VCU fans seem to love that.
That is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life.
The band director for the Peppas, which is VCU's pep band, wore a Michael Jordan jersey for I guess that was the Illinois game, right? The second game. So they take out UNC and then he wears a Jordan jersey for the second game. VCU fans loved that. It took me a minute to realize what he was even doing. I was like, that's an odd choice. And then I was like, okay, they took out UNC. I get it. But then it was like, yeah, I don't know. That struck me as odd. It just struck me.
There was somebody behind the VCU bench wearing Carolina blue too. I think it might have been Martelli Sr.'s wife.
Who was wearing that color?
I think.
Not just a UNC fan who was unwilling to give up their tickets for the rest of the
I mean, that's possible. It's just super weird. I don't focus on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Uplift your team rather than dragging I don't know.
Unless it has to do with Providence fans and poaching coaches.
Oh, God. It's sort of like that in a way, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The transfer portal is heating up. Shocking breaking news. Deuce Jones has entered the transfer portal.
It's so funny when you see that announced and like everybody's like Deuce Jones to the portal. I'm like, a little context is helpful here. When a guy who's been kicked off the team for months hits the portal, you got to put that in the headline too. It's like, following expulsion from St. Joe's, Deuce Jones enters trade. Like, you don't even think of him going to the portal because it's, we've already been talking for months about where he's going to go next. Very odd. But we had 4 guys in one day from LaSalle go out or announced. I think technically most of these guys can't go in the portal yet unless they've graduated. It has to. There's a shorter window now, right? Like after the tournament. But Rob Dockery, Ashton Walker, Eric Acker, and Nas Hart all announced that they were going to be leaving LaSalle. And then for Davidson, it's Hunter Adam and Sean Logan. If I'm not mistaken, though, for Davidson, once you hit 4 years, you got to go because they don't have a graduate school, right? So if you've exhausted your your academic eligibility, whatever you want to call it, there. You're done. Hunter Adam is a redshirt junior, so that makes sense. So that's 4 years for him. So he's got to go. Sean Logan's a senior, so he's got to go too. So when Davidson upperclassmen hit the portal, it's not really they're trying to leave. They have to leave. They can't stay. The school doesn't let them.
You don't have to go home. You just can't stay here.
That's right. Yeah, Davidson's it's very different. Like they're not going to let them hang around and get a certificate of clinical psychology. Whatever people get extra certificates in on top of their, programs. They don't do that. There's no extra there. It's an undergraduate school for 4-year degrees, period. No extra. So yeah, anyway, those are the guys who are out in the portal in the A10 already. There'll be many more to come. But it's a shorter window this year, so it's going to be more compressed, and I think that'll make it a lot easier to cover.
Pete, we promised the fans, the Billiken fans, some Travis Ford talk. Travis Ford is heading back to coaching. And my view of this is that this is legitimately like he's got the little bag that can follow him around. He's gonna go do the Chris Mack thing on a smaller scale. He's going for a job that he doesn't have to work hard at. He's gonna live in Little Rock, Arkansas, and be a grandpa or whatever. And this might be the cushiest job he could find.
Yeah, this is an interesting one, and you kind of have the idea. Ford's not an old guy, and you kind of figured he still had some coaching left in the tank, right? It's all
piss and vinegar in him.
It's all he's known, and he's just like, for a guy who played basketball for as long as he's been alive, and then a guy who's coached basketball for as long as he's not been playing. It's hard to just go to nothing after that, right? It's just hard to shut it off, and you had to figure he was going to do something. So as of today, terms are not yet public, but the two sides are finalizing a deal for Travis Ford to take the head coaching job at Little Rock. Little Rock is currently transitioning to the United Athletic Conference.
I think it's a football only.
Yes, but I think all the other sports come with it?
I don't know.
I
guess they do. I don't know. What is going on? I don't know much about the UAC, but I just thought
United is like
only.
It's made up of programs from the WAC and the Atlantic Sun. Although two former WAC members are leaving for the Big Sky, and then Little Rock and several other schools are coming in. So it's kind of a mess, but there's clearly an opportunity to get to the top of the league quickly with the right coach.
They missed out on WAClantic Sun.
I think that rolls off the tongue way
perfectly
than United. We'll join so after the 25-26 season, Little Rock will join the Western Athletic Conference. So they actually are going to the WAC. Oh yeah, no. Okay, so the WAC is changing names to the UAC in July. So I'm right. It's going to be the full shebang. They're going to have all the sports over there. So it's weird, but it's happening. And I don't know. I think that timing is actually pretty good because you've got kind of a couple grab bag conferences coming together, and there's kind of a lane, right? Like there's an opportunity if you're a program that wants to commit to maybe a bigger name coach, get some talent in here. Travis Ford can win that league, as much as you and I have struggled with what happened with, in the later years of the Travis Ford tenure, a lot of other years of the Travis Ford tenure. He's a guy who can, with the right mix of talent, good NIL commitments, win that league, whatever that league is going to be. So there's an opportunity right here, and maybe the timing's pretty good for him to have kind of a little bit of a bounce back gig. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's you've seen these kind of things where these bounce back guys really thrive in a position, and then you've seen the ones where they fall from grace and never actually get back. So it's going to be interesting whether it is kind of the more low key retirement job, or if maybe this is something that kind of sparks him back up, right?
It's a position that feels like there's not a lot of pressure to win. It's not like, I think we get into this, the coaching carousel and the NIL and the immediate transfers, and but there are still programs out there that are just trying to do their best to compete.
Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead.
No, I think you're right. I mean, like in terms of pressure, their coach there right now, Daryl Walker, is in this was year 8, right? So he was let go after 8 seasons. 4 in the Sun Belt, 4 in the Ohio Valley, and he had a couple peaks. He won 21 games and won the league, of course, in the year that was canceled by COVID. And then he won 21 games again and was tied for first in the league regular season, played in the CBI 2 years ago. So he never won the conference tournament, which is the thing you need to do in those conferences. And he's kind of been up and down. But yeah, like you clearly, this is a job where you've got time. Like they're going to give you time to put something together, right?
Yeah. I just think it'll be, just it's a nice job, and he'll, yeah, it's, I don't know. It's, he's taking a job to get back into coaching. I think he'll be there until he retires, and he might not do much. He'll make a tournament once every 4 years, and that'll be good enough. Or maybe not even that. He may make it once every 8 years, and that'll be good enough for Little Rock. Like, I don't think they're going to fire Travis Ford. I think when our fans, when they're the section of fans that thought like, oh, if you fire Ford from SLU, who are you realistically going to get? Those people, that's what you should be talking about Little Rock. If you can get a guy like Ford, that's like SLU getting a guy like Majerus.
Right.
You know what I mean? That you take a stab at a guy who's been down on his luck in coaching and has a chance to really, come back in and raise the level of a program that really is a poverty program. Like they're just, I mean, that's just how it is. It's a one bid league. It's a true one bid league. So he's not going to have like, there's no pressure to make the tournament because you can't guarantee yourself an at-large bid. You have to win the tournament no matter what you bring in. You can win games and shit, but like at the end of the day, the only way you can make the tournament is for the conference tournament. But so I don't know. Let's move on. Kramer Soderberg to Maryville, just 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks after he denies there was any truth to it. He is heading to Maryville. Brad, will he hire his father as an assistant? Will he bring him along?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if Soderberg's back in the St. Louis area coaching again. He was with him at Billiken in Decatur the last couple seasons, so I really am curious to see if he comes with him.
Interesting one here. Jerry McNamara is heading to Syracuse. Pete, why are we including this one?
Yeah, I mean, given that there's a few dozen coaching vacancies that are to be filled, this cycle, this one's a little bit different, Zach, because according to Matt Norlander, quote, sources said Syracuse showed significant interest in other candidates, most prominently St. Louis's Josh Schertz, in the lead up to the NCAA tournament. SLU announced on March 13th that it had agreed to terms of a new contract, but with the buyout being somewhat manageable, Syracuse pursued all options before landing on McNamara. One source said SU was still making a push on Schertz even after St. Louis's first-round win over Georgia late Thursday night.
And just into the newsroom, and by the newsroom, I mean my basement, the word from the Curry Hicks Spaces is that, by the way, did I tell you that Curry Hicks Sage is the name of a cage? It's like a basketball. It's a basketball court in Philly. Curry Hicks Cage. Yeah,
I think I knew that.
I had no idea. I thought that was his actual name. I thought it was his name forever. Like dumb. He said Cuse made a serious push at Josh in the last few days. At the tip of SLU, Michigan, quote, it was safe to say he thought he was Cuse bound.
What?
Allegedly. Then SLU made a ludicrous offer to counter, and Josh chose to stay.
I don't know if I believe that or not. I mean,
I don't know which part. Well, I mean, to be fair, we did have an issue with another coach we just mentioned getting a supposed offer.
Sure.
Yeah. Quote, a Gonzaga of the Midwest type offer without precedent on the counter offer.
Wow.
It is, let's see, quote, the expectations next season, if you are a St. Louis fan, should be as high as ever. The expectations next season, if you are St. Louis, should be as high as ever for a mid-major gargantuan victory for St. Louis folks.
I mean, if that's true, I guess I'll take it. I just, I would have really liked for it to be that he was already set on that
Yeah,
previous
no,
agreement.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
I don't want to
No.
have to keep bidding against people like multiple times a cycle, right? It's
No,
like,
yeah, no, that's not that. I don't know if we jump. I don't know if that was asking. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he.
yeah,
I don't know.
huh,
But I would have obviously. I agree. I prefer that. Hold on. New another. Hold on.
more news
Um.
coming through.
Yeah.
Do
Haven't
we have a
heard
little?
that. This is West Pine Bills now. Um. Oh, actually, it's not West Pine Bills. Sorry. Um. I don't know. I'm not going to quote anybody on this because I think it's they essentially West Pine Bills thinks it's over unless someone like Florida offers him. And I
Mhm.
agree with that. I agree with that. I think we're in a good spot going into next season. I think that's going to do it. I don't think Cuse was going to get him regardless, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
Um,
it's and obviously UNC is the one that could fall and change everything this cycle, but I don't know if necessarily is he the first guy they would go after? Like,
That's a weird one. It's a great question because you have all of these programs, like you have a UNC, you have a I don't know, like even when you get down to Michigan State, you're going to see it again with Michigan State. Michigan State's going to go down this road, but UNC, Virginia was one of them. Nova was one of them, right? These schools with these coaches that are larger than life, that are almost bigger than the program, you know, and they leave and they try to bring in, they try to stay within the family, try to bring in a player or an alumni of some sort, whether that be an assistant coach or whatever. And I feel like these programs are all so messy, especially at the SEC level and the ACC level, where you have these massive NIL, like this big group of, there's so many boosters, like there's so many different hands in the cookie jar that want to have a say. And I just feel like those jobs are complicated, like
yeah,
really complicated. And I don't know, maybe these guys are truly built different and that they view everything as a challenge, or that, they are locked in on being the best coach of all time at the best program of all time. But like, I don't want to deal with these fucking guys. Like, I don't
yeah.
want to deal with the Nevin Shapiros of the world.
Yeah,
Like,
we're gonna have vultures hovering every year. It feels
and,
like. I mean, but
and not even the money, not even the money, but like also the politics of it all.
yeah,
You've got half the boosters. They need another Roy Williams guy. They need another Bill Self guy. We got to keep the pedigree going, right?
right.
So you've got those forces. You've got the forces. So if you go into one of those places, you're already dealing. You're battling a little bit. You've got to win over a certain subsect of that fan base, and I just think that's not something I'm interested in. Like, if a school hires me to do a job, like, give me a fucking chance at that point.
I honestly, if you look all over college basketball and you're like, whose seat do you want? I mean, it's Mark Few. It's like, so when you call it Mark Few of the Midwest, I mean, to me, to be able to go into a place, to have job security, to mold the program as I want it over the course of 3 decades.
We have been the, and I don't want to call us media members because we're not. We are fans who have a multimedia show.
Mm-hmm.
But of the media in St. Louis, we were the harshest. We are the most, like, we are the most, we bring the most pressure. And that is not like that. We are so far from being on the level of SEC in that regard.
That's a really good point.
We're the only people in that post that record a multimedia anything, whether it be written, video, audio. We were the only people that were basically demanding that there be a change in
it's
in leadership.
So funny.
Like that could have gone on if nobody in the fan base stood up. Like, and I'm not saying we did anything like more than anybody else did. Like we're just fans. We have our own views. But like if Billiken fans at large didn't say anything, I mean, there's a good opportunity that the Chaffetzes keep worrying about pickleball, and nobody would have cared.
It is really funny to put the relative pressure in context, right? Because like Ford had completed 8 seasons. Obviously, the last one was a complete disaster. But all but one of those seasons was basically a letdown, and that one only wasn't a letdown because of a kind of a fluke that got us into the NCAA tournament. And it just shows you how little pressure you have to operate. And on the other side of the ledger, you have Big East level resources in terms of market, in terms of facilities, in terms of support from the administration and department and everything like that. And so that's why for me, it's like to be able to do that and be the quote Mark Few of the Midwest is so appealing. You look at Mark Few, and he's a guy who's been out there forever at Gonzaga now, right? And has been able to build the program that he wants and is like churning out NBA players and is in the tournament every year. And I think they had like a 9-year in a row stretch where they made the Sweet 16 every year. And yeah, they don't have that championship yet, but like, man, to be there every year, to be that close from a conference that's not a power conference. And the people of Gonzaga understand we're a small to medium sized Jesuit school out, not even on the West Coast. We're in Spokane, a good 4 hours from the West Coast. Spokane is not like, I don't know if you've ever been there. It's remote. It's out there, man. So I think
it's the Bonaventure of the West.
So if Mark Few has a down year, if Mark Few has a year where he doesn't win the league, it's like they're okay. They're going to be okay because they can put it in perspective. If you go to UNC or Michigan State or Arizona or any of these other places, you don't get a down year. Like a down year and you're fired. Like that's just it. And that's in addition to all of the pressure and politics and the different interests that you were talking about before. But
if Hubert Davis wasn't an alumni of North Carolina, he would have been shit canned last year.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I think that's absolutely right. And the other thing, Zach, is now it's not just you get fired after a bad year. It's you don't get time to build a program. It's you have to deliver now. Year one, like when we hire you, you need already to have your staff and roster and stuff put together. We're throwing all this money at you, but it has to work now.
And we are the only people still say like none of the St. Louis media said that.
No. Oh no. The rest of the
nobody said that. It is only the hardest of hardcore fans that care that much. This is the easiest job. This is the most this is the Charleston job, but with like actual financial like backing. And I think the fact that there's maybe like 4 major boosters that are involved in this, like Chaffetz is obviously the point man, whether that be in visibility or in total dollars spent.
Yeah.
And Slew is incredibly lucky that he understands that he's not some genius.
Right.
He's at least not in basketball. He understands that it's not basketball. He understands we figure out the right guy, you install him, we put the money, we're hands off at that point. We are going to enjoy the hell out of the ride, and that's about it. We paid our ticket, we're getting on the ride. They're on, that's it. They're just patrons at that point. And I think we are lucky to have that. Compared to like, I'm sure in the Big Ten, in the SEC, that there are boosters that think they know a thing or two.
Yeah.
And also we don't have that we don't have a bunch of guys. Like, I don't feel like any of our alumni, young enough alumni, but old enough to be involved, really are involved in that capacity. Like, they don't seem to want to be in the capacity. Maybe Brian Conklin is the only one that has ever expressed interest in being on staff. So we're still a completely blank slate, and we've achieved exactly what we achieved under Majerus. So from here on out, you are setting the next plateau for everything that Billiken Athletics achieves going forward. So there's nothing to compare you to in history.
Yeah.
At least not in modern history. I just think SLU for like, I think there has to be a consideration when it comes to compensation and whatnot. That like you are in a very, very comfortable, very. I mean, have you met Kentucky fans?
Mm. Oh,
like
they're not happy today. Yeah,
it's a completely different planet.
Right.
Like, so you don't have to deal with that at all. You have to deal with us two chuckleheads.
Right.
And the people that just happen to listen to us.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're the ones currently saying he's the guy. Give him the keys to the program. Let him do what he wants.
Yes. I'm like, seriously. Like, I mean, now I don't, if it starts impacting the amount we can pay players, I don't know. But yeah, I go with it. Give him the keys. Let him cook. He's cooking. Hopefully, I mean, look, we got to an NCAA tournament.
Yep.
That's huge.
Yep,
I don't foresee with the amount of money that's being funneled into this program. I don't see a guy like Josh Schertz fucking that up.
No, me neither. And I think we'll have a lot more to say on that next week when we kind of do a full season reset, and maybe more details of this are known by then. But no, I as we record, it sounds like everything is still in place for next season, and we're well positioned to move forward.
By the way, the attention-seeking behavior from Dayton fans this week, it was just outrageous.
Yeah, they're pathetic.
That's it. That's all I had to say.
I agree.
Pete, let's head over and talk about the base Billikens.
Yeah, let's do it, Zach. They went out to St. Bonaventure for a frosty A10 road trip up in the frozen north. 7-5 was the win on Friday the 20th. Chase Beatty hit a 2-run homer. Drew Kleinheider went 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs to power the offense. Drew Welk was the third and final pitcher of the day, threw 2 1/3 shutout innings for the win, as SLU posted their 6th and 7th 2 runs in the final 2 innings, if that makes sense. 6-3 was the win at St. Bonaventure on Saturday. Riley Ifrig was the offense in this one, 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Ty Holman got the win. Lauren Georger got the save. But unfortunately, they couldn't go for the sweep on Sunday. St. Bonaventure won 14-3. Kit Bond hit a solo shot, but there aren't many other highlights to speak of in this one, where SLU had to use 7 different pitchers, and almost no one came out unscathed. I think Max McGuire may have been the only one. They host next up SIUE for a game on Tuesday before George Mason comes to St. Louis for a 3-game weekend series. Zach, how about on the softball diamond?
They had a decent weekend, actually a whole week. They went 3 for 4 this weekend. They started out on Wednesday the 18th with a 3-0 win against SIUE. Isabel Royal spread out 3 hits and 5 walks over 7 innings for the shutty. 6-0. Oh my God. 3 shutties. 6-0 win at Loyola on Saturday the 21st. Anna Christ hit a 3-run homer and a solo shot, as well as pitching 7 scoreless innings. An Otani outing is what we're calling it, Pete.
Yes, we
are. Some call Shohei Otani Christ too. An 8-0 win at Loyola on Saturday the 21st in Game 2. Riley Nelson, complete game shutty. Scout Gallagher, the best name in the A10, homered. And the doubleheader sweep gave Christy Canoyer her 400th career win at SLU. However, the Billikens dropped the series finale on Sunday the 22nd, 4-2 loss. Billikens grabbed a 2-0 lead in the top of the first, couldn't score again. After that, Loyola had a player go 4 for 4 with 3 RBIs. So, have a day. Tip your cap. They'll play Lindenwood in a one-off out in St. Charles on Wednesday. And then Rhode Island visits for a 3-game weekend series. Rackets and balls, Pete.
Yeah, women's tennis won 4-3 against Dayton at Davidson on Saturday, the 21st. These are the best college tennis matches where no singles match has to go unfinished, because after grabbing the doubles point, SLU got the singles wins from Emerson White at number 1, Fiorella Duran in a 3-set thriller at number 2, and Naima Luthra at number 4. But unfortunately, they dropped a decision 4-0 to Davidson the next day on Sunday. It was a very quick, clean sweep for Davidson, although a few singles matches went unfinished. Maybe those would have gone our way. Who knows? Next up, they've got Eastern Kentucky on Friday and Maryville on Sunday, both at the Dwight Davis Tennis Center. On the men's side, they had the same road trip, but they lost. They flipped the results. Lost to Dayton at Davidson 4-0. These are the worst ones, right? Where the result is determined early, 3 matches go unfinished, and worst of all, you lose to Dayton. But they won 4-1 against the home Wildcats on Sunday. After getting the doubles point, SLU got singles wins from Andres Castellanos, Adrian Ducret, and Riki Koshimizu. Next up, same as the women, they've got Eastern Kentucky on Friday and Maryville on Sunday, both at Dwight Davis. Zach, why don't you wrap us up with track and field?
Well, I wanted to say it's shocking that a country club school like Davidson wouldn't be good at tennis. Davidson Tennis, sponsored by On.
Sponsored, okay, sure.
Sponsored by OnCloud, yeah.
You're saying that's the sponsorship is the surprising part, or the fact
the fact that they wouldn't be good at tennis, yeah. But also that everybody that probably goes to Dayton owns some OnClouds for when they hit the country club, yeah.
Sure.
You gotta have the Federers.
Tennis at Davidson is funny because you think like they wouldn't even need to recruit. Like you could just say who wants to play tennis, and like everybody who grew up playing tennis.
Same with golf.
I'll play. You're right. I'll play this semester. I've played my whole life.
Yeah. Track and field. The outdoor season got underway this weekend at the Margaret Simmons Invitational at Murray State. 3 school records fell. Madeline rolled through 47.1 meters in the javelin. That beats her own previous record of 46.02, which she set last season. Even better that the javelin didn't hit anybody. That's huge. That's good news.
Always a positive.
Jaden Coadio registered a high jump of 2.04 meters, just barely topping the previous mark of 2.03, but it counts. That was held by Will Heingardner from 2016 and Ethan Arusha in 2021. Sam Lamaze broke his own school record in the 400 meters, running 46.97. His previous mark was 47.01. He established that last season at the A10 Championships. They have their first home meet of the outdoor season. The SLU Speed and Power Festival is Friday the 27th. Then the Billiken Invitational is Saturday the 28th. That's also alumni weekend, which, of course, it's the first. The Billiken Invitational, because like the only home meet. But that is going to do it for us this week. Next week, we'll be back with a full season breakdown. Maybe the next week if we have something else potentially come up. But for now, look forward to that. Thank you all for listening this season. If this is the last time you listen to us until November, we sure appreciate it. We'd love for you to stick around. As always, Pete, roll Bills.
Roll Bills.